Hi everyone, this is Rachel Youngson from useplr.com and wholefoodplr.com. This is our Tuesday PLR Power Hour. This is where we get together to discuss what to do with our PLR, ask questions about reputable PLR sellers in your niche, and connect with other folks who are using PLR. Next week, we are going to have a special guest. That will be Kate Rieger from PLR Pump, and she's going to show us what to do with those PLR opt-in pages that you get as part of your sales funnels. So she'll be showing us how to get our emails attached to that, how to edit it, how to upload it to WordPress, and all the other good stuff. So, hey Angel, I see we have a lot of people on today.
Hello.
Here. Hey, how are you, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, I saw that you jumped on to use PLR the other week, so I was real excited to see that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you for sharing it with me. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we were able to help you the last time you were here, so that makes me really happy.
I've been buying PLR for almost 2 years, and I haven't spent probably 4 hours working with it, so I'm really excited to start using it.
Yes, great. So for Angel and for anyone else who's a little more new to these PLR Power Hours, I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to open with questions for anyone who has questions on how to use their PLR. And for anyone who does not have questions, this is also a time when you can set aside an hour to use your PLR. So whether it be rewriting it or formatting it or adding images to it, if you need any resources, feel free to jump in and ask us. But even if you have no questions today, it's a great opportunity to take out your PLR and start using some of it. Mira, how are you today?
I think she's still. Well, I have a question.
Yes, please do.
I think that was you. I'm not sure. I'm on a few email lists. I received email. I think that was you though, about like the daily planner or journal.
Oh, the Panda Plant. Was that the email from today?
Mm-hmm. It was like for like a family one. I think they had a kid one.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that Sue Fleckenstein and Jennifer Anderson have put together. And it's on special right now. Would you like me to get you that link?
Well, I have the link. Thank you. I have the link. My question was more so like, so let's say I customize it. How would you know how I go about actually getting it printed? Because if I do a planner, I would want it to be bound. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I totally know what you mean. I actually don't physically work with planners very much. I know that Sue does. There's actually a course on doing all that stuff. I tell you what, let me get in touch with Sue and ask her. She's real quick, so it shouldn't take more than a few hours, I would imagine, especially on a launch day like today. But let me get in touch with her and just see what she recommends, because she does this all the time and she teaches others how to do it too. So,
thank you.
Sure, no problem. And the email that you used to sign up with Use PLR, can I just go ahead and use that to send you a response?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're really just looking for how to physically bind the planners?
I am. Where's my book? I've created a book with Create. Let me get it. I made a book with Create Space. And it was just like, the paperback. But I don't know if this is the best option or if there's like a better option. So that's why I was curious, because I really would like to create, journals and things like that. But I want it like physical.
Yeah. Okay. Totally understand. Okay. Yeah. I will go ahead and get in touch with her as soon as we wrap up here. And like I said, she does this all the time, so she'll be really great to give us some guidance on that.
Thank you.
Sure. And did you have any other questions while I have you?
That's all for now.
Okay. If you think of anything else, feel free to jump in.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, everyone. Does anyone else have any questions on their PLR today? You can feel free to put your questions in the chat box if you choose. Hey, Carol, how are you?
Good. Do you prefer having them in the chat box or speaking them?
Nope, you can definitely speak them.
I was wondering if you have suggestions for how to take advantage of this big fall selling season with using PLR. Are there places that are better than others? Are there themes that are better than others?
Are you looking in a specific niche, or are you open to all niches at this point?
Open to all. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This fall transition is usually a great time for food PLR, holiday PLR, things like that. In fact, over at Whole Food PLR, we are going to have a discount on our Thanksgiving and Christmas PLR bundles coming up. I think that's going to be this Friday or maybe next Friday, but it's going to be half off of those. And you'll see that other sellers will start to do that as well. Typically, as a seller, we try to get those holiday packs out to you folks at least a month before the actual holiday so that you have time to upload it and get some SEO love and all that good stuff before your traffic starts to come in. And of course, before the holiday actually happens. So I would definitely say that food right now is big. Also, I personally don't do this, but I know Tiffany Lambert has a lot of luck with Halloween PLR at this time of year. Supposedly it's a really big thing for a lot of people with that coming up. I don't know that I would focus on weight loss right now. That would be more of a after the holidays. So I would maybe start shopping for that in November, so that you have time to, again, get that up on your site and get some traction on that before New Year's actually hits. But for right now, I would definitely stick to those holiday themes.
Okay, thanks.
Sure, sure. And of course, if you need any suggestions, or if anyone ever needs any suggestions on a good PLR seller in your niche, feel free to touch base with me at rachel@useplr.com, because I am pretty connected to a lot of sellers, and if I don't know a seller personally, I can figure out a lot about them before you spend any money with them. Mira, I see you now. How are you, Mira? Can I go ahead and unmute you? Yeah? Okay.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a crazy few weeks. We had a family member in the hospital.
Oh, dear.
That's why I have not been on for the last couple weeks. But
oh, gosh.
I'm back, and I am still determined to create my idea about ingredients and what's in food for professionals, so that they can, what I want to do is create a newsletter niche, so that I write the blurbs and the editorials, and then they pop it into their newsletters.
All right.
And so a few days after you and I talked last is when she got sick and went into ICU. So it's been kind of crazy.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you. You know what? She's good now, and she's like being released as we speak. That's what actually why I had to leave. I got a phone call, so I had to step out to find out that she was being released, and my husband was picking her up. So that's good.
You know, that whole like juggle, you know, we're so fortunate when we get to work for ourselves, because I know that, you know, my family, we, I had a full-time job actually, and my son had some health issues, and it wound up, I had to actually leave, and that was just a few years ago. And I kept thinking, like, what would I do if I didn't have if I didn't know what to do, and if I had no other options in that situation, like so many people don't, you know?
Yeah.
I'm real sorry to hear that. But while I have you, I do want to let you know that I did talk to Trish over at Kitchen Bloggers.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And so, two things. First of all, she knows that when you get this prepared, you're going to reach out to her.
Yep.
You would feel better reaching out to me and having me do like a group email. I'll definitely do that for you.
Okay.
Also, though, you may want to take a listen to the replay of our webinar with her. And
Yeah, I saw that. I've been so crazy busy. I haven't had a chance, but that is on my list to do this afternoon after this call, is to go back and listen to that.
okay. Well, I also we're getting together a main page on the Use PLR site that's going to have all of the webinar replays there in like one central location for you guys. So if you don't get a chance to listen to it now, by next week, it should all be in a nice, beautiful, pretty page for everyone to so that you can watch them as you go along. Or
that sounds great. I did actually have a question for you, because I've been making myself, notes while I've been,
Mhm.
sitting time or whatever.
Okay.
And so I wanted to know, like, a lot of the PLR that I see, that I've bought, that I've, turned around to rewrite and reuse, has always been like articles, like long, 400, 600, 1,000 word things. And what I'm looking at doing is creating newsletter content with like some kind of an editorial or small blurbs that deal with an article. Do you have any feedback on what would be good word count for that kind of stuff?
I'm thinking, I don't really deal with newsletters, but I'm thinking 600 to 700.
Okay.
Who does news? I want to say Alice Seba from Publish for Prosperity may be able to give us some guidance on that. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, because I haven't seen quote unquote newsletter PLR. And so I was wondering, like.
Let me go ahead and let me ask some PLR folks, including Alice, that
Okay.
are a little more familiar with newsletters, just because I don't want to steer you wrong. The email that you use, you're on the Use PLR site, correct? Or are you on
Yes.
whole?
I actually get 3 newsletters from you, and I'm afraid to unsubscribe to any of them because I'm afraid that if I do, it'll like take me out of everything.
Yeah, I get that a lot actually, because I have them. I have my shopping carts linked together, so with my Aweber, so it just all kind of blah. But the good news is, if you unsubscribe to one, I send the identical email to both of my Use PLR and Whole Food PLR subscribers.
Okay.
So feel free to unsubscribe to one or even 2. You'll still get it.
And also get your stuff. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
But the email that you used to sign up
Mira at, M-I-R-A.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At theingredientguru.com.
Perfect. Okay. I will get working on that for you after we're finished the call.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. And like I said, whenever you have those ready, Trish is aware, and she's very open to seeing what you've put out. So.
Okay. That sounds great.
Okay. John K. How are you, John? I don't think I'm not sure if we've had a chance to connect yet. Can you hear me okay? Can you put something in the chat if you can hear me, maybe? Okay. Does anyone else have any questions on their PLR? All right, great. Joyce, how are you doing today? Yeah, I'll go ahead and unmute you, sweetie. There you are.
Here I am.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, actually. A couple of irons in the fire, so.
That's great. What are you working on this week?
Well, actually, I'm just getting ready to start. I had done the JV Zoom membership sign up, and Tiffany's doing a bonus teaching class for that. So we just got the first of the emails this morning, and to set it up so that, and since it was a complete, free, for one flat fee. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people were talking about, either then getting rid of their, their Teachable or Thinkific or other accounts. And so I've been working on a Teachable free account, but there's so many things that are unavailable when you do that. So I said, you know what? This sounded like a great idea to, just go for broke and do it one time. And so now we're going to get some training, because the training that they've got is just, it's awful. It literally is, do this, but no explanation as to, why, when you're choosing. Even the simplest things like setting up the initial, put your name in and what you want to call it. And then, it, 2 lines down, it tells you, don't forget that, if you do this, then that's going to affect how your other niches, because they've got it all in different niches. Mm-hmm. Get like unlimited accounts after a while, but so you want to niche everything. So if you're doing like, a food blog or a food type, information, that'll be one. And then, whatever else you might be doing for self-help or, but it doesn't tell you that until you've already done those first few things of, hi, I'm, Joyce Russell. This is what I want to call it, only to find out that now you're locked into that. And you just separated earlier on. So yeah.
When you say Tiffany, I assume you mean Tiffany Lambert?
Yes.
She's great. She's like the guru of JVSU. I am not. I've done a few launches there and I've had some success with it, but Tiff just knows how to do like boom, 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 boom. And yeah. She will definitely not steer you wrong.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, while they were in the, their launch mode for this, she had done some walkthroughs and, just started literally identifying all these problems just in, doing, this walkthrough. And that she did over the course of like 5 or 6 days. So we were getting a little bit of information if you were at all interested. And, I had known about halfway in, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be, this is going to work for me. But, as she was identifying all these problem areas and she was reaching out to them, and then they'd come back and they had actually added in a few extra videos to explain, better what they had missed. So, yeah. So I think we'll, if nothing else, if we're not successful, it won't be because we don't understand it, not if we actually follow along what she's going to teach us.
Yeah, and the great thing about Tiff is that she's really responsive too. Sometimes you get into courses or you're like, this is going to be great, and then the person isn't very quick to respond to you. But Tiffany, her teaching style, she's always very on top of her stuff. And you can even just send her an email just on the fly anytime, and she'll respond pretty quickly. So I'm really glad that you synced up with her, because I think she'll be able to help you overcome any of those obstacles.
Yeah. So,
well, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. Is anyone working on any PLR this week? Any specific PLR? Or Mira, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Joyce. What are you working on? You feel like sharing with us?
Sure. So I have two things, and actually I'm going to pull it up so I can tell you exactly what the original name of the piece was. And this is a piece that I got through the PLR Palooza,
Okay.
which was fabulous but overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I took a piece, and I'll tell you who it was from. So the way I'm trying to figure out a better way to organize my PLR right now. I have it organized by who I got it from, and I'm thinking instead I need to like not care who I got it from and just, although I don't know, and then organize it by type. But hang on.
Content marketing. Oh, Angel, I'm coming to you in a sec.
Okay, so are overanalyzing. Who was that? So yes, content shortcuts. It was from Ruth Pound,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about overanalyzing stuff. It was a one-pager, and I created a business-directed piece called "Stop Spinning Your Wheels."
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and so I've managed to turn it into a 3-page white paper with scientific citations, and now I'm just looking for the graphics. And
Nice.
then I'm going to use that as a content attraction piece. Plus, I plan to throw it up into my training module for practitioners. I'm not sure if I'm going to charge for it or not, but it'll at least be an attraction piece that I can give them. But yeah, so it took me a while, but I'm learning how to get a little bit faster and how to organize better. But I'm really proud of the way it came out.
If I could make a suggestion, I would suggest leaving that as a freebie.
Okay.
It sounds like a really good freebie.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about it is that's one of those topics that you can modify towards almost anything. You know, stop spinning your wheels with dieting. Stop spinning your wheels, you know, for you being the ingredient guru,
Yeah.
you could definitely reformat that in a lot of different ways. I could also see that going into becoming like little mini checklists or things like that to add, like enhance that a little bit,
Right.
add some value without putting any strain on you as the content creator. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. And I can actually show you, I think I can show you, let's see how organized I am today. I have a folder on my desktop, and it is my This Week folder.
Okay.
So basically, when I open it, I have, can you guys see my desktop?
Yes.
Okay, great. So basically, when I open it, I have all these different things that I do. I do a little bit of Amazon FBA. I'm working through a training from Liz Tomey. So I have them all broken down into these main folders. But as far as the PLR, my PLR business is called Right Stuff. And then I have all of these subfolders here where I have my emails and I have my webinars, my releases, my specials. I have my PLR trainings and that kind of stuff. But I also, and I don't know where it went, but I also have another folder that has just PLR that I use. And for that, I have it broken down by niches instead of by seller. And I will move it. So like if I use a piece, after I use it, I'll put it in an archive folder. When I create it, I'll actually, if I, like as I'm thinking of things, I'll do something similar to this. I'll have things like listed out like, oh, next I want to do this and this and this and this and this. And I'll number them so that I kind of have some kind of a format.
Okay.
And then once I do use it, then I will put it into a past release. I'll give the date that I did it. And then I can archive that PLR piece itself.
So then how do you stay on top of it? Like you were just talking about the fact that I could, once I'm done with this piece, and this piece that I've done is geared towards practitioners, towards like health coaches and things like that. But you're right, it could totally be geared towards other people. How do you track it for repurposing to like aim towards another market?
For me, I don't use PLR for my whole food market, so I'm able to have, I don't really need to do repurposing. However, I know that some people have spreadsheets that they use and they kind of keep track of everything that way. To me, that seems like it would be a headache. To me, it would be easier to have your this week folder, which has a quick go-to of everything that you're doing this week, and then have the PLR that you're using. And if you repurpose it into a different niche, I would just copy that folder with the PLR and put it into a different folder too.
Okay.
And that way you can kind of keep track.
And so can I ask, on your top level, you said you had Amazon and something else, and what are all of those things?
Sure, yeah, of course. Okay, so this is my archive. This is where I put things that I no longer use. Amazon FBA is a second stream of income that I do. That's selling physical products on Amazon. Funnel World is something that Liz Tomey has a passive income squad, and this is part of that.
Okay.
The only reason I broke this out special is because I love Liz's training so much. I want everything that has anything to do with her to be quick at my fingertips.
Okay.
These are my JVZoo bonuses. So anytime that I add a bonus to something I'm an affiliate for on JVZoo, I have a folder here. And I'll just copy anything.
Oh, so you hold your codes there and then you can just move them over?
Well, I actually hold like products. So everything that I do has naming conventions so that I can keep everything straight. But so, for instance, this special from Rick Warren, Stretching for Seniors, it released on February 27th, 2018. This is Rick's bonus. This is my bonus from Whole Food PLR. And then I just copied my PLR packs and put them in this. So I copied them from the folder they were in and put them in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. That's so smart.
So yeah, Connie Reagan Green, I think it is the one who taught me how to be smart about the way I name things. Low-hanging system is mugs. I don't really do that, but I've got the training on it. This is just overall training.
Mugs, like cups mugs?
Yeah. Rachel Rolfe, if you ever look into selling like physical products, Rachel Rolfe has a training on creating simple mugs, and she goes through Gear Bubble, and they fulfill the orders for you basically. So it's a way to make money without putting any money forward.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's pricey training, and I kick myself for not getting into it more. It's one of those things that's kind of on the sidelines for me to do.
And how do you spell Rachel's last name?
Rofe.
Oh, Rofe. That's easy.
Yep. And again, the training itself is pretty pricey, but it's good training though. It's good training.
Okay.
And then this is Right Stuff. This is everything for my used PLR and Whole Food PLR sites. When I outsource to my writers, I have an outsourced projects folder.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of outsource at the moment, but I can see how at a certain point you need somebody else to look for the graphics and do the formatting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I actually don't outsource as much as I'd like to right now.
Okay.
But I found that for me, the best way to start is to figure out what I hate doing the most, which ironically, writing is what tangles me up the most in the week. So I'll outsource my writing, and then I'll do all the editing and reformatting and adding my voice to it and all that good stuff before it actually goes live. So
can I ask you a question then? Because I mean, I love to write, so that's not a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just curious, for the price point that you're selling at, how can paying somebody else to write your initial draft be fiscally feasible?
So earlier this year, for those of you who've been with Whole Food PLR for a while, you'll maybe notice this switch, but earlier this year we were releasing $27 packs, okay? And those were 10 original articles, report, social media images, checklist, opt-in page, etc. Those packs would cost me approximately $400 because it's $20 a page. So then we kind of did some evaluations on the back end, and I started thinking, well, how can I do this in a more cost-effective way, but also a quicker way so that I can keep turning product out in a timely manner? So what we did was, instead of doing 20 unique pieces of content, we now do these mini packs, which are 5 articles, costs me $100. Then they're brought to us, we put them into a report, we format the report, we make a checklist for them, an opt-in page, social graphics, and we can do all that. Once we get it back, it takes us less than a week. So we spend $100, and then we sell it for $14.95, but introductory is $7, and we recoup that money pretty quickly. Does that make sense?
No, it does. So basically, by scaling down, you were able to significantly reduce your costs. And then how much time do you think it takes you to do the rewrite, the report, checklist, etc.?
I can do that in probably 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I can get that done in a week easily. But it's one of those things, though, where the first couple of times you do it, it's going to be a little bit bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have a format. Then you'll have I know what I'm doing. I know A, B, C, D. And so, like, for me, I'll just take last week's checklist. I'll copy it, paste it into the new product folder, and then change the name, change the checklist information, but the format is already there. The format's the same. So I just have to change the title, change the wording, and get a new image. But the basic format is already there.
Mm-hmm. Well, so then let me ask you, just going back to what you had said for me before, to take my Stop Spinning Your Wheels piece and add like checklists and other things like that, and maybe repurpose it in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of work has to be done to something to turn it into a unique piece that you can then sell to somebody else? Because I don't want to be one of those people that just takes somebody else's stuff and sells it. Like, I reworked that sucker hard. And it sounds like what you're suggesting is that I could consider selling that onward because I'm expanding it and doing more with it. Is that true?
Yeah. So I know folks who so you're talking about, like, once I get a piece of material back from someone that I've outsourced to, what percentage do I need to spin that up to make it my own?
Yes.
I actually know folks who don't touch it. I know folks who, very reputable PLR sellers that I'm not going to name because some people have different feelings about it, but they get these in and they look them over, or they even have someone else look them over. They don't touch it at all, and they put their name on it. The thing of it is, though, one thing you want to be sure that you do when you get anything back is run it through Copyscape.
Yeah. Copyscape?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because that way you know that hasn't been plagiarized. And for me, the folks that my ghostwriters, they know that I sell PLR. So they know that when I get that content back, there's a chance that it might be unique to the used PLR site, but there's also a chance that I'll be selling it as PLR. So they're aware of that.
Well, and so I'm not comfortable just selling somebody else's work with my name on it. Like, I always rewrite, even for the few little things that I've done. The only thing that I didn't rewrite because I wasn't able to was the coloring book, because that was images.
Right.
But I wrote an article to go with it, to point back to it. I wrote a whole social media campaign for it. Like, that was all mine. And so I would never use somebody else's stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's totally copacetic. But
I mean,
but
it's
having said that, so it sounds like there's no hard and fast rule about how much. So could I ask a favor?
sure.
Can I send you the 2 pieces, knowing that my piece isn't done yet, but send you the 2 pieces and get your feedback on if that's significant enough to be able to turn around and offer that forward?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and shoot that over to Rachel@usepeeler.com. And also, one thing that I should tell you is, regardless of how much or how little you choose to edit something that comes to you after you run it through Copyscape, you definitely want to make sure that it's legible and it's in your voice. So PLR is kind of a gray area because a lot of times people like to spruce PLR up on their own, but I tend to not like sometimes I'll get pieces back that have a lot of medical terms and references and things like that, and I tend to not talk about that a lot. So I'll just take that out and I'll rewrite it a little bit on my own. But I do like everything to feel like it comes from one source, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the writing style and everything, I like it all to
Sound like you.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, to the point that somebody will be like, "Oh, that's Rachel's PLR."
Yeah.
But not so much so that they can't spruce it up on their own. But definitely, I want them to have a good foundation
Okay.
to work from.
That sounds great. So you have like regular writers that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
You built a stable of people that you depend on for that.
Yeah, I do. I actually only have 2 right now,
Okay.
but I've loosely worked with a few more. I think at least 4 or 5 total. Some people are pretty picky about their writers. I just really like to know that I can depend on somebody and that we can kind of get along and they can kind of take some feedback. And other than that, I'm good to go with whoever I work with. I don't really care too much about reputation as much as I do the value to my folks and myself.
Okay.
But yeah, if you ever need recommendations too, I mean, I'm always happy to, connect my writers with new people. Some people don't like to do that, but I do because I feel like it's paying them. It's saying, okay, well, I really like your work and I really like what you've done for me. And, the least I can do is pay that forward and show you, connect you with more people who can get you more business, So yeah, feel free to shoot me an email if you ever need any recommendations.
No, that sounds good. I have managed to find a good ebook editor, and she's pretty reasonable. So I can use her for anything that I'm looking at, like actually putting on my website in my store kind of thing. If it's 10 or more pages, I just hire her to go through it and make sure that everything's good. But I haven't looked at the idea of possibly hiring someone else to do the first draft for me. So that's an interesting idea. Thank you very much. This is great.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I'm going to go ahead and...
I love the organizing too. Organizing by topic, not by provider. That's so much smarter. I'm going to have to take a couple hours and do that.
Yeah, I definitely do it by topic. I make sure they always have an archive folder, and I make sure that I do dates too, because sometimes folks will be like, hey, I wasn't able to download X, and I'll be like, oh, crud. Was X from 6 months ago? Was X from 2 years ago? So it definitely helps.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and mute you one up. And Miss Angel, you're working on content marketing right now from Piggy Makes Bank, huh? I'm unmuting you.
I am, yes.
They're smart ladies, aren't they?
Yes.
I love them. Are you part of their membership site for that business stuff?
I'm not. I was on their site though Sunday morning. It was like 12 a.m. And I bought like 3 packs though, like the individual things. So only because the membership, I think, the topic didn't seem as relevant to what I need now, but I'm so grateful that I kept scouring because it took me 3 different packs of content that I bought before I found the one that I'm working on now that I feel like will help with the marketing that I needed to get done. So I'm really excited.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You know, it's so important that you find PLR from someone that you trust and it's well written. And those guys, they really seem to go above and beyond. So that's really great. So are you reformatting that this week, or are you doing anything special with it right now?
Yes, so it's the content marketing, the 30-day content marketing challenge. And I had recently had the breakthrough that what I do, I've been doing it for 2 years, but I didn't realize it's what I was doing, was I help people turn their expertise into a business, right? That was a good way to wrap it up. And so the content marketing bundle is perfect because it's all about, kind of providing value and taking actions toward showing what you know instead of just telling people, which is what a lot of new entrepreneurs do, is what I did. And so right now I'm basically editing one of the articles. So I bought their plugin. So I uploaded all 30 articles into WordPress. And now I'm working on the first article. I think I'll just start it in October to make it easier for myself.
Is that an email challenge too? Is that something that I know that they have something that they recommend also turning it into an email challenge? Is it that you're working on now?
Yeah, they say you can do it as an email challenge or a course. They give you ideas, but I think they ran it probably because they gave you 30 emails, 30 social media posts, 30 blogs, the ebook.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Great. So if you have any questions on that stuff, feel free to shoot me an email. Also, as far as I don't think that they have, I don't know if you have an opt-in page or anything like that, but next week what we're doing with Kate Rieger might be of interest to you. Just if you do start doing those email challenges or anything where you're going to want to put like a main opt-in page up, we're going to show you how to do all that stuff. So
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. So Carol says, it's really helpful to see how you organize things. Thanks, Carol. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys can always ask me how I organize anything. I think those naming conventions, like what you decide to name things, is really important, as well as simplifying everything as much as you can is also really important. Looks like Lou and KJ have joined us. Hi, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box or oh, thanks, Angel. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box. If you don't have any questions, then this is a time when we can also just carve out a little bit of our week to actually work on our PLR. So for instance, folks will work on their PLR, and if they have any questions on formatting or anything they want to run by the group, then they'll just pop in and ask questions. I actually, Angel, I didn't even know I was showing my stickies because I'm like a Zoom buffoon. I have no idea what I'm doing with Zoom, but I didn't realize I was showing those until somebody said something. But yeah, I use them all the time just to kind of keep myself straight. One thing that I love, though, that I use more than anything is Workflowy. And that is like a checklist. It's like a checklist program, and you can actually pin it to your start page. So where is it? There it is. So it allows you to make all these little checklists and break them down, and it's pretty easy. And then once you finish something, you just highlight over it and you can complete it and move on to the next thing. So for me, I'm very big on checklists and bullet lists and things like that. It helps me to kind of knock things out quickly. I used this before I got my little panda planner, and now I use both of these things. So, and of course my stickies. It's a miracle that I get anything done, honestly, because I've got stickies everywhere. But yeah, so there's a lot you can do with the free version of Workflowy. So if you are like me and you like lists, then you don't even have to pay for it. You get like 100 or 200 bullet points for free before you have to pay anything. And I think that's per month even. So, and it's a really good little program. Angel says that she Googled it and she realized she has stickies too. Good. Yeah, it's really nice to have something that you can just have right there whenever you need it. Sure, of course, Angel. Mira says, are stickies a special program? You know what? They're not special, but they're not really all that advertised either. So I have Windows 10, and if you go into your where all your files are, you'll see them in here. And I think I want to say they're down here in the S's, but I'm not 100%. Yep, they're there. Stickies. So it's STICKIES. So Mira, you could even, if you have a search bar for all of your files, you can even type in stickies and see what comes up. Mira says she has them too. Great. The only thing you with stickies is if you like, for me, sometimes I'll delete one by accident and then I'll be like, holy crud, because you can't get it back once you delete it. You can like close the window and open the window back up, but if you actually delete a sticky, you can't get it back. So on the topic of how I format things, real quick, I also wanted to let you guys know, since a lot of you send out emails pretty regularly, I think it might be helpful for you to see that how we do emails over here. The first thing we do is we have emails in Word doc. So if we click on that, basically I just update this every time I send an email. So if we click on this one, for instance, this is today's email. And prior to this, you'll see all the other emails. And then I already have tomorrow's email and my emails for the rest of the week fleshed out. So you'll see the date that the email is going to be sent, the title that we're going to use, and then after the email itself, on that naming convention that we talked about, the way that you name things, after the email, I have what we promoted in that email. And then for Thursday's email, we're going to remind folks about the Monday Motivation freebie that we had this week. So that's why we have a little blurb right here. Thursday's going to be the 20th. Don't forget your free gift. We're going to have, this is the last day to get the information from Dennis Becker. And this is also the freebie. And I just have a note here that we're going to also have our PowerHour replay link. So what we'll do is, for tomorrow, for instance, I will copy this whole email from today and I'll put it right up here. And then I'll just change things. So it's super simple. We also have our emails in text format. I'll copy it and I'll paste it over into a text WordPad because that's the way that my personal email program uploads it pretty easily if I do that. And yeah, I'll just keep the same naming convention. So pretty simple stuff.
Have you found that like if you reuse the emails, that makes it easier. Because like I know for me, every email I do is basically a broadcast. I haven't done a lot of automation, so it kind of feels like I'm just constantly working and then I stop. And to me, having that list like that would allow me to maybe reuse sometimes, not always just starting from scratch.
Yeah, I find the same thing. I typically I'll run things past my audience 3 times. So if there's like a launch that just happened, I'll typically tell them about it 3 times before I just leave it alone. And so it's really easy for me to copy an email from yesterday, and then I just keep, if it's like the second time I talk about it, I'll just keep that in the email for today, and I'll add new things or change the introductory paragraph and add something new that happened today. And it's really it's pretty simple for me. But as far as the automation, Kelly recommends that we have at least a little bit of automation, and I'm not really great at that, but I'm trying to get better. So the goal for Use PLR for our end of the year goal is whenever you purchase something, we'll have like 5 follow-up emails for that specific something that you purchased. Right now, we're not great at that, but for our day-to-day, we always do the broadcasts. And also, if something is like a forever thing, then of course that can go in your backup email system or backup delivery system as well, back end. Carol says she didn't know she had stickies either. Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they? And yes, Windows 10 has tons of things that I have no idea how to use either. The joke in my family is my husband is a computer guy, so he's like always fixing things for me. I'm always like blue screening things, and I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot with Windows 10 that I have no idea about. I just stumble on it. Okay, does anyone else have any questions about their PLR today? Or anything, actually. I mean, this is time for us to all connect with each other too, not just about PLR, but if you are, in a certain niche and you want to see if there's anyone else in your niche that's on the call today that you can maybe sync up with as an affiliate, we can always discuss anything. All right, great. Looks like we are doing good today. Looks like we're on top of stuff. That's great.
Mira, I think, waving her hand.
Oh, Mira. Thanks, Angel. Mira, hi. Hi, sweetie. Sorry about that. How are you?
There we go. So I had a question, actually. When you're doing graphic work, do you have any particular tools that you use for that?
Yeah. So the first thing is, let me move these windows out of my way real quick. The first thing that I always want to do is make sure that the images that I find are royalty-free images.
Yep.
So I use Pixabay for that. And then I always check to make sure that it is, whatever I find is free for commercial use. No attribution required. So if you select on a new picture, you look over in this right-hand corner, I make sure that that CCO is there, free for commercial, no attribution required. 99% of the things that are on here have this. However, I've come across 1 or 2 images that has the CCO, but it doesn't have the no attribution. So I just don't use it because I don't want to get myself in any kind of sticky situation. So I'll download something from Pixabay, and then I'll go over to Canva. And it's super easy. I'll always do stuff as social media, so I'll select that. As you can see, like once you create stuff, it'll stay down here. So I can even just select my last thing. And then I can just upload a new picture and change the wording and then go from there. So I'll put this in the back, and then my wording will come up, and then I can just change my wording, and it keeps the font the same. So Canva, Pixabay, and the last thing that I use is GIMP. A lot of people do a lot of great things with GIMP. I do not. I only use GIMP so that I can find specific color codes. So if I have a picture and I want to see, if I want my wording to match the picture nicely, usually I'll try to match the wording to one of the colors in the picture so that it's natural for the eye. So what I'll do is I have GIMP downloaded, and I'll just open. Sorry guys, I keep having to move the window you guys are in. I just open, and then let's just go to a recently used one, for instance. So let's say I wanted to figure out what her, let's say I wanted to put like
The chair.
my wording in red, yeah. So I'll use this. This is a color picker. And then I'll just select it on the chair, and then it comes right up here. And then I want the code. So I'll double click, comes up here, I'll copy the code. And then I can go in here and I can paste the code right here where this is. So I'll like add it, and I'll put the code right in here. And then this will turn red too. It'll turn the same shade. So I'll always try to tie everything in the pictures together, if that makes sense.
Is GIMP free?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yep. All of these tools are free. Canva does have a paid version, but I use the free version. Some folks like PicMonkey. I used to like PicMonkey, but I find that ease of use is I love Canva the most. Also, PicMonkey has paid versions, so I just don't bother with it. But yeah, and we also have on usepeeler.com, there is a free guide about social media images, and you can find that somewhere on the right-hand side on the main UsePLR site. And that goes over all the tools in a little bit more detail too, and that should have walkthroughs of everything for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. Hey, bye, Angel. I'll see you next week. All right. Does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up today?
This has been really great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
For some reason, I just realized.
I'm really happy to hear that. I get really excited when folks are, when they feel like they're getting something out of it, because, you know, it's always like when you hear yourself talk, you're kind of like, do I make sense right now? Am I being clear right now? Am I actually giving something of use right now? I know it happens to everybody, so I try not to think about it too much, but I'm really happy that it actually helps other folks. Carol says it's very helpful. You're too nice, Carol. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up then. If you guys have any questions between this week and next week, please reach me at rachel@useplr.com or on the UsePLR Facebook page. Also, next week we have Kate Rieger coming from PLR Pump. She's going to show us what to do with those PLR opt-in pages, how to connect those to our email, how to edit them and upload them to WordPress. And that's a wrap. So I'm Rachel Youngson from usePLR.com and WholeFoodPLR.com. Thank you to everybody who came out today. And for everyone else, I hope to see you next week. All right, guys, have a great week, everyone. Feel free to reach out to me anytime.